It's high time for grade 11 students, and let's see where we are so far, which lessons we have completed. Living tissues, photosynthesis, mixtures, waves and their application, geometrical optics and biological process of human body, acids, bases and salts, chemical heat changes, heat, power and energy of electrical appliances. Up to that we have completed, and these are the lessons to be done. And the biosphere lesson also we completed the man and environment part, and today we hope to discuss the rest of this biosphere lesson. And the biosphere, or the sphere that we live on. Let's see the today's plan, and there are two chapters to be discussed under that. 15.1 organizational levels in the biosphere and 15.2 flow of energy and matter. I hope to cover up this part today. Right, let's move on. Organizational levels of biosphere and the life. Before it becomes the life, the matter has formed. Matter started from the atom. Now we know how that atom developed further. Many atoms together form molecules. Two or more atoms together, molecules. If there is a hydrogen atom and oxygen atom, hydrogen and oxygen makes molecule. That molecule is the hydrogen and oxygen, it's water and water molecule. Likewise, that molecules together form cell organelles. Cell organelles are formed by the molecules. Large molecules like carbohydrate, proteins are the building units of our body, and these cell organelles form cells. The basic structural and functional unit of the human body is the cell. Cells together form tissues. And now this is the organizational levels of the body. Tissues makes organs, and organs, similar organs together form systems of organs. The skeleton is the skeletal system, and such system make an individual or the organism. So far we have learned this story in grade 10 and also in grade 11. And what happens hereafter? Organisms, they are the individual units of this environment. And there is another thing, another fact continue further. Organisms, common or the similar type of organisms in certain area, it's a population. Organisms or species make population, and population makes biosynosis, and this is the next thing, or the community is created by that. This is the community, and in community we can say the biological factors only, but the biological and or the biotic and abiotic, both the factors seen in ecosystems. Next level is ecosystem. Ecosystems create the bioma, or different large areas of different ecosystems, the bioma, and all these things are seen in our earth, that is the biosphere. So these are the organizational levels of a biosphere. But under ecology part, under this lesson, we will learn the levels from here to forward. That means the organisms to population, population to community, community to ecosystem, ecosystem to the biosphere. And those are the levels that we will discuss under this lesson. Now let's move on to the different levels here. First one, individual. You can see individual plant and individual zebra here. And individual means single organism, and individuals belong to a species. Zebra is a species. This plant, if it is a pinus or cypress plant, the cypress is kind of a species. So a single organism living in the environment is called an individual, single one. Then what are the species? A species, individuals with many similar characteristics and can give birth to the fertile offspring. and making or giving birth to fertile offspring. That means after they have babies, those babies also, once they mature, they should be capable of producing new organisms, fertile offsprings. And by interbreeding. And the zebra and the plant can't interbreed to produce young organism. Both are organisms, but they can't make new young one. Zebra crossing or the zebra making the relationship with another similar zebra. If it is a male, another female one, and during that sexual reproduction, they should produce new young one, new zebra cub, and those that zebra also should produce new young ones in future. And non-species, who are the non-species? Look at this example. Horse is a species, donkey is a species, but horse and donkey sometimes interbreed. As a result of that, mule is formed. Mule is larger than donkey but smaller than a horse. These mules can't produce new young one, therefore mule is considered as a non-species. There are many such examples. I will show a few here. And mule is born interbreeding of horse and donkey, that's what we discussed. But it is not fertile to produce new mules. They can't produce new young ones. Therefore, mule is not a species. And here are some other examples. This is called tiglon, tiger and lion crossover to produce such organism, but not a species, non-species. And this is again zebra and donkey. You can see it looks like half look like a donkey, half like a zebra. So such cases, these are not a species, remember that. And here it is a ram and a sheep crossed over. Ram and sheep produces this sort of one. These are the non-species types. Another one, this is called the liger, again lion and a tiger cross. The particular feature, they can't produce new young ones. Therefore, they are infertile organisms. Then population, right, from the level individual to population, level population. Look at the difference of these pictures. Now you can see similar type of many plants in an area. Here similar type of zebras in an area, but only zebra, only plants. That's the particular feature about the population. These are the key points. In a given period of time, year or a month, we must mention. And in a specific area, in such area, specific area, limited area. This area can be a country or a continent. The number of organisms belong to particular species. Zebra or that way. Is the population. So let's define this one. If you take this area as kind of let's take this as the X jungle. In X jungle, then the population of zebra in X jungle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they are all the zebras are there in here, 5 zebras. Then we must mention the specific area, the X area, during the period or during 2020 the year we must mention. Likewise, in a population there should be basic 3 facts: the time, area and number of organisms, and those organisms must belong to particular species. That's what you must remember about the population. And let's see the community. In a community, not only one population is seen, there are many populations together, but the particular feature is only biotic factors are seen in here. Biotic means living beings. Only living beings belong to a community. Number of populations living in an area show an interrelationship among them living relationships called community. Next one, ecosystem. In ecosystem, the condition is different. You can see the zebra or the giraffe and the plants here, but there are some particular things. One is the soil, and the soil and this thing, and the water and sunlight comes here, and they are non-living things. This time the organisms found in this ecosystems, they are the biotic ones, keep relationship with the abiotic ones. Biotic living beings associated with the non-living things. As an example, the sunlight falling from the sun is used by the grass. Then grass is eaten by zebra. Likewise, there is a relationship with the abiotic factors in the ecosystem. The largest ecosystem, look at the number of population living in sovereign interrelationships among them is the ecosystem. And next one, the biosphere. The largest ecosystem is the biosphere. Here's the biosphere. All the ecosystems together known as the biosphere. And basically we divide biosphere into three spheres. One is this lithosphere. The land belongs to that part. Land continent belong to the lithosphere part. And next one, number 2, the hydrosphere. This one, water filled area, the hydrosphere. And the third one is the atmosphere, which surrounds us. Therefore, lithosphere, the biosphere is of three forms here: lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. Next, growth of a population. How does a population increase or decrease? Here you can see the population of this area is for 4 birds living. How can this number increase? One thing, the new births. When new 2 birds born and gets added to this society or this population, their number will be increased. New 2 birds came now. Now it became 6, the population. And the next thing is immigration. From somewhere else they can come to this area, then population can increase. 2 more birds added. Now altogether 8 birds here. Sometimes this whole 8 birds cannot be brought to this environment or this nature, but somehow there is natural ways of controlling them. One method of decreasing the population is deaths. Right, due to the predator attacks or due to the aging, they can die. When they died, the population, now they were 8, now it became 7 again, once lost. And some leave the area as they can't sustain in the small area. Some will emigrate. And 2 birds emigrating, again the number decreased. It became 5 again. So though number of births took place or number of immigrations take place, the population will not be increased rapidly. This population will remain in certain level because there are decreasing factors also, deaths and immigration. And increase in population, increase in factors are the births and immigrations, and decrease in factors are deaths and immigrations. And how does population grow? If a new population start to grow, it will start from 0. There is no organisms. Thereafter 1 organism, 2 organism, likewise it increase. This phase is called the lag phase. Typical population growth. Lag phase means slow growth of a population. This population is still not established to that environment. Therefore, their rate or the growth rate is less. But at one stage it will be well adapted and follow that. In that stage the rapid growth we can notice, rapid growth of population. Number of organisms in an area increasing rapidly due to the exponential pace. There are reasons for that. One thing, the availability of food or less predator attacks and enough space to live on. Due to that, exponential pace rapidly increases. But again, there are some decreasing factors which decrease the pace. Number 1 is the competition. Due to the competition, again their population rate decreases. And we have come to certain line or a certain level here. At this level, the population remain in the same value, establishing pace. That means if population increase by births and immigrations, it will be decreased by the equal number of deaths and immigrations. Likewise, this can be kept balanced. And why does established pace keep balanced, and what are the factors limiting this growth? Here are the factors, limiting factors. Basically, when organisms or when number of organisms increase to here, they have fight competition for these things: water, space, food, predators, and diseases. Ones who are capable to win by fighting with them, they are the ones surviving this line. The population remains same, the balanced state. Then due to certain reasons, it can be increased or decreased, but always population became or kept in common level, and these are the limiting factors for the population. Next, growth curve of human population. How does the mankind grow here? This is a normal ordinary animal, slowly starting, rapidly growing, controlling by different features and establishing. But the man has challenged the whole earth, therefore lag pace, it looks like the same. And next, rapid growth. And there is no decrease because the mankind have controlled water and space, food, predators and diseases also controlled by the mankind. Therefore, in the human population, it looks like this. So we call the human growth population as the J letter one, and also the female reproductive, so also the growth curve of the normal growth curve. It's the animal normal growth curve. It can be looks like a sigma shape or this type of S shape. And this is S letter shape, this is J letter shape. Likewise, growth curve of human beings and the growth curve of animals, they are limited. As the human growth curve increasing here, they occupy the space, water, food and lot of things. Therefore, in other animals dedicate and their growth curves gradually decreasing. That means they are established pace or the number of the populations gradually decreasing here. Due to the human effect, that's how the growth curves of other animals decreasing. Now let's move on to the next slide. In that one, we can discuss different creatures, the categories of creatures seen in the environments. Producers. Green plants or green algae types are the producers of this environment or the ecosystems. Producers are the beginning of a simple food chain. They are the ones who begin the simple food chains. Producers are plants and algae and plant types, and they produce and release the food for the other animals. Animals mostly depend on the food produced by the plants. Consumers, they are the animals. Consumers depend on the food produced by the plants, and in a food chain, the next link is the consumers. There are three levels of consumers: primary consumers, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers. Let's discuss which ones are the primary consumers. Primary consumers, the first level. Look at the animals belong to that category. Those animals eat only grass or the other green plants, and they eat the plant matters. Grass, plant, leaves, it may be the fruits, seeds. Those ones are known as the primary consumers, first level ones. They are herbivores. And the secondary consumers, those who feed on the primary consumers, so the other animals are the secondary consumers. Sometimes there may be omnivores in that one who eat the plants and animals both, and an animal that feed on the small plant eating animals in a food chain. They are carnivores mostly, sometimes omnivores. Tertiary level. Third level, they are the animals who eat the animals belong to the secondary level, and the animals that feed on animal eating animals in a food chain. A carnivore type. Definitely a carnivore. Omnivores not belong to this tertiary level or the third level. There is a quaternary level also. In reality we can meet quaternary level, that means the fourth level in food chains. But the food chains are limited to certain extent and they are not spreading further, and all these organisms, these are big organisms, once they die off or once the leaves of plants fallen down, on that dead body parts there is another group growing. Those are the decomposers. Here you can see the animals who help the decomposition and the fungi who does that one directly. Organisms feed on bodies of dead organisms by converting complex organic matters to simplest compounds, and that's the importance of having decomposers. They decompose and just clean the garbage heaps of our earth. Then look at the food chain and food web. Any food chain or a food web starts from a plant. Look at this. The leaves of this plant is eaten by a deer, and deer is eaten by a tiger. This is a simple food chain with three links. This is the producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer. And there's another one you can see. Butterflies take nectar from the flowers of this tree. Primary consumer. Secondary consumer is a spider. Spider catch and eat the butterfly. That's the secondary consumer. Three levels again. Next one. Here the seeds of the plant is eaten by rat or mice, and it is eaten by a snake. Primary consumer, secondary consumer, and the snake is eaten by eagle, that is tertiary consumer level. See another one. But these caterpillars eat leaves of the plant, and caterpillars are eaten by lizards. And these are the food chains. They are starting from the plants and end with an animal. Simple food chain. There are 4 food chains, but we can find out some interactions between that. Relationships and interrelationships. Let's find out some interrelationships here. As an example, the butterfly is eaten by the lizard, right? But it is in a different food chain, but that is connected to another food chain. Interrelationship. Also, the lizard eats the caterpillar, and lizard eats spiders. Lizard eats many, and therefore there are some interrelationships. These food webs are again linked. Also, lizard is eaten by an owl here. This is joined into another food chain, and owl eats butterfly. Another example. And lizard also eaten by the eagle. Interrelationships. And the rat is eaten by the eagle. And the snakes are eaten by the hyena type, particular ones. And they are scavengers. The scavengers eat that snakes. And it's eat the rest of the deer. So the ones the deer is killed by the tiger, remaining ones are eaten by the. So likewise, there are interrelationships. Rats are eaten by this. Basically relationships and the interrelationships. Now we can call this as a food web. In a food web, there are many interrelationships. Food chains, number of food chains are linked here. And we can find out new food chain here. I will go through this one, the plant to butterfly, butterfly to the lizard. This is a lizard to eagle. That is a new food chain. Primary level, secondary level, and tertiary level. Likewise. So how does the matter flows through these food chains, and how does energy flow through the food chains? That's what we must discuss the next themes, and you can find this note for this lesson. Go to www.itssciTimeblogspot.com, and from that one you can see the note and complete the tute. By reading the note you can write that in the tute. And our next lesson is ecological pyramids and cycling of matter. If you gain something from this video, you can press the like button. Also keep subscribe our channel and also press bell icon to get notification of the next lesson. That's what you must do, and we can meet next week with these two lessons, ecological pyramids and cycling of matter. Goodbye everybody.